G'day. This is our second in episode of Choose Your Own Adventure. We're leaving the village of Gilda. We're heading towards the Yellite Nation, and it was requested we check out KASTA and not those buildings to the east over there. So we're going to check out KASTA. A little history for you. Again, as you may or may not know, there are three main nations in my world of Minecraft. There's the Yellite Nation, the Reds, and the Blues. And about 2,000 Minecraft years ago, they had a war. They were fighting each other. The Yellites were winning, and so those wimpy Blues and Reds gathered together and caused the Yellite capital to be taken. And so there was a truce signed, and one of the terms of the truce was that the Yellite nation was not allowed to expand west of the 32nd hundred parallel, or block negative 3200, and so this is why you see things like this. This was a bridge that was in the process of being built to Gilda, and according to the terms of that ceasefire agreement, which was signed about 2,000 years ago, they weren't allowed to expand further to the west. Now, one good thing about the Yellites and why I'm a huge fan of them is even though KASTA wasn't able to expand west of the 32nd hundred, they could provide resources. There's nothing in the terms that wouldn't allow them to provide resources to places like Gilda, which is how Gilda got her walls, and the roads which lead us to the city of KASTA. Furthermore, they were able to provide defenses for us. Again, to the west, there are villages run by a number of armies that seem to dress in green. We really don't know much about them, but they constantly are invading and raiding. So the Yellites, huge fan of because they protect my home village from these raiders. Okay, and so and they provide it through both arms and materials, as well as a fallback position where you have watchtowers like this. Now, again, with that ceasefire being signed, the Yellite nation actually expanded east tens of thousands of blocks, and so they really left the west undeveloped. And so most of these buildings now, again, KASTA and the cities in this area have actually improved their facilities, but that's been through their own commercial endeavors. Okay, and so most of what you see here existed, but again, a lot of the facilities were improved not by the national capital, but by KASTA and the other villages in the area, which are now huge metropolises, as you can see. And slowly they're improving the infrastructure outside the walls. But anyways, let's check out KASTA. Okay, usually there would be a ton of troops here, but for this tourism video, they decided to remove them. So let's go in the walls, and as you can see, there are a lot of places for your archers in case we were to ever be invaded by whether greens or the reds. So let's go inside. This is just the main entrance from the north. There's a lot of military facilities. Again, this was a watchtower. It's now somebody's residence. So let's check this out, shall we? Hopefully nobody's in here. Hopefully nobody minds. And again, it's there's cake. Okay, somebody's birthday. Maybe I should leave. Don't want to interrupt somebody's birthday party. But again, we have a huge walled city that goes all the way up to BASHORE. And you might say, well, I really don't see the difference between BASHORE and KASTA. Just think of this as KASTA being the original city and then BASHORE being the suburb, which has grown up among other suburbs, because I think that's another suburb in the distance with all the towers. But again, if you want, we can check that out some other time. Originally, when this was built, one of the first things we built was a barracks into the actual ground, just in case the city was ever overrun by rebels to the west or the Reds to the south. There was an elevator shaft with a food supply and barracks. Now, these barracks are still used, and the food is still used, but it's more used for the city, and of course, it is known, which is why we're showing it to you. Other military facilities, again, this was housing, barracks for some of our troops. And then you also had support facilities like training facilities for archers, as well as within the actual barracks themselves. You had fighting dummies and a place for your supplies, for your horses. Eventually, a cavalry place was built over here. One of the things you may notice about some of these cities is you're going to see sort of, I forget what these are called. Okay. Oh, beacons. Sorry. You're going to see beacons. Let's put that back now. All over the city, but they're color coordinated. White doesn't really mean anything. It's just sort of a point so that people can see it in the distance. Brown are your places for horses. Blue is your facilities for hostels. So if you're a visitor to the city, you see a blue, and this is across the 100 plus cities and towns and villages in the Yellite Nation. Blue represents your hostels. Red represents your docks. Yellow represents teleport places if you have the funds. Again, they cost quite a lot. I think it's up to 5 emeralds now to transport from place to place. And there's a couple others. Light gray is subway facilities. Yes, there is a subway in certain parts, although it doesn't reach all the way out to KASTA, but there is a subway that goes about 10,000 blocks now, I do believe. 2 subways, in fact. But anyhow, let's keep checking this out again. As I noted, there are military facilities all over, and that includes places where you have murder holes to protect your city. Okay. And there's, as you can see, other places, whole ton of places for archers all around here. And again, you have your white, which sort of shows from a distance, hey, this is where KASTA is, in case you can't find it, so on and so forth. But anyways, let's check up top the mountain. Again, this was built very early on. This was built about 2,000 Minecraft years ago, and it was specifically built to protect the entire region. This was originally built as a western point, and it became this huge metropolis that we see here. This is another cavalry point for on top of the mountain. I guess they're having a huge convention here. I don't know why all the Ironmen. But anyways, this was originally the first barracks prior to that underground barracks being built, and then it became the governor's mansion, the governor of KASTA. Okay, and then he had houses for his servants. And as you can see, you have lookout points for the military so that they can see if they're being invaded. Anyways, hopefully I can get by here. There we go. And again, another stairwell down to the main part of town. Again, you have sort of an indoor place for food as well. Community garden now. And so, yeah, let's check out that hostel, shall we? And again, in the Yellite Nation, there are usually hostels in every single city. This one just provides sleeping facilities, as well as your cooking facilities and sort of a sink. There's others which have showers, working showers, as well as working bathtubs. And as you can see here, we're going to go further on into the city. Again, there's a lot of residential in the city, as well as some commercial. Very little industrial in the city, okay, with it being on the edge of barbarian space, I get you call it. Again, another barracks in there. Let's check out this watchtower up here. And as you can see, we got our elevators. We go up. And again, there's a number of facilities throughout. As you can see, we have working cannons, which are really just to illuminate the area in case we see a lot of troops coming from a distance. We can sort of send flares out so we can see what's incoming. Hopefully hit the incoming troops, but again, if not, we have a place for our archers, as well as murder holes throughout the entire area. And as you can see, this goes throughout. Again, more cannons over here. And you have your barracks. Underneath this, within this wall, is actually more barracks. Again, you have your resources at the edge of the wall, just in case those walls were ever breached. You don't have somebody's houses or commercial or industrial facilities or barracks being destroyed. Well, except for the barracks here. As you can see here, let's check out the barracks. Oh, somebody's sleeping. We should leave. Let him sleep. Good soldier. So again, you have your resources here. You have a whole ton of residential. Let's keep going to the next sort of entry point. Just like any city on the ocean, if you're going to build a city on the ocean, you need ships to protect it. So we do have a shipbuilding place for that. The ship is in mid-build right now, and again, you have a wooden wall, so at the very end, you take down the wall, you dynamite or open the doors to that. It usually falls apart, although you might need to break it apart or dynamite it, and then your ship can go out to sea. We've had to put our sugar growing facilities inside a wall. Again, KASTA is a huge producer of sugar, one of the biggest in the empire of the Elite Nation, and so to ensure a steady supply of sugar for the rest of the empire, we had to wall this in because we did have raiders to the west who were at times raiding our supplies and sometimes even being successful. This is the western docks. This is for residential, commercial, industrial use. And again, it's more for smaller company ships. And then, of course, you have the bigger ships like what you see in the distance, where you have trader vessels, which will ship from from KASTA to the south as well as to the east. There's a number of places. Again, all throughout you have your cannons. So here's another cannon. These ones are very important because, again, anybody who's invading our space, we want to send out a couple warning shots just in case they're in error, and if they're not, then we send up an alarm, we send up flares, and we let the troops know, and they will gather here with their arrows and defend the city. And there's places all along. There's another one here, as you can see, and these are all working cannons. Here we have one of the larger horse pens in the lands. Over here you have the main link bridge. This was built about 1,000 years ago, and it was built to, one, connect quickly for military purposes as well as trader purposes. There are some traders who are willing to pay tolls to go across this bridge, but it allows us to connect quickly to the capital along the Golden Highway. In addition to that, it's a place for a port for our military ships, such as this ship, which does have a few working cannons on it, as well as also has military supplies like cannonballs. Well, I guess it's not fully filled, and ways of firing those. And again, there's not much difference between our military ships and our commercial vessels, so as to ensure that the enemy can't all of a sudden, hey, that's a commercial vessel, we're going to take this over. But again, if you get closer, which if you get this close, they're probably already firing at you, so you probably already know it's a military vessel. Like any bridge, it needs to be maintained. And so, about once a month, we fix each section. So, right now, this section is being fixed. And again, both military as well as anybody who has paid to use the bridge for commercial means knows to please yield. And again, here are resources on the bridge to renovate this section. But anyhow, if you're interested, we can check out the bridge during the next video. As I noted before, anything with yellow, you have your teleport facilities. This is just a temple here. Again, there's a number of different religions in KASTA. This one, I guess they have their pigs for sacrifice. Anyways, that's a castle slash fort. We'll check out that after. Originally, when KASTA was settled, again, they couldn't, because the bridge wasn't there, they couldn't rely on resources from the capital. And so, like most places in my Minecraft world, they had to dig down and set up mining facilities quite literally underneath the entire city. Again, you have more residential places here, including residential condominium. They are all being used. Actually, sorry, I think this one is commercial. Yeah, there are a number of desks in here. What is this? Oh, potion of swiftness, water cooler. Okay, anyways. So that's that. Oh, I don't know if you've seen a map of the area we're checking out. Let's just close that door and go back up. There's more military facilities over here. You've already checked out the bridge. Oops, that's an underground protected facility. I do believe these are barracks. Yep, so we got more barracks here. We have more barracks here. Let's open these ones. These are older ones, and they're more entrenched. A lot of supplies, as well as sleeping facilities for our soldiers. And again, this is one of the older ones, which was originally set up. These are security services. I don't know much about that. Again, I live in the town of Gilda, so some of this stuff I don't know fully. So forgive me if I skip over parts that I really should go through. This is just a workshop, I guess. We do have churches in the area. Again, some people are religious. Some people visit here prior to trying to seek a fortune off in the west wildlands. So yeah, of course we have our libraries, which provide facilities for learning in a city like KASTA. This is just one of them. And so that's that. You have more residential, as I noted, and let's go further east in the city. We have the original. This was the first building built in KASTA, and again, this was built as a primary defense point. It was deemed by the Yellite Nation that they built this over 2,000 Minecraft years ago, and again, this was built primarily to provide support and defense to the area. To allow the Yellite Nation to expand. And again, from this fort, you now have this metropolis. So you have another dock over here. This is usually the one to the west. The smaller one is used in case you're going west or to the south, while this one is more a dock that supports, because this is a huge bay. If you were to see... I don't know if we have a cartography office in KASTA, but if you were to see it, this is a huge bay where all around is Yellite cities. And so somebody leaving here would go to one of those, as opposed to Western cities or to Red cities, which why you would go to those traders, I don't know. But anyhow, a lot more residential here. This bridge takes you to BASHORE. Again, if you want to check out BASHORE, you can vote for that. Again, it'll be either we'll check out BASHORE or we'll check out the bridge to the east. Again, more residential. And, well, this house is under construction. It doesn't really say what it is, so could just be residential. Again, as you can see, there's a lot of luxury here, a lot of big houses, a lot of pools. So anyways, thank thanks for checking out my city of Kasta. I hope you liked it. And let me know where we should go next. Should we be checking out the municipality of BASHORE? That's a museum in the distance, among other places. Or should we check out the bridge, which takes us east to Jaffa? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video. Later.